Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. We have a product by Topsky. Don't run away. I know Topsky, kind of a bad word in this hobby, but Topsky has, well, they've made their own FPV watch. They're not the first person to do it. I think it's just a rebranding. But I bring this as a little fun thing to do. You know, if you go to an event and you want to check in on who's flying, or if you're someone who needs a little something on the bench, if you're doing some building or something like that, make sure your video, maybe move your OSD elements around. It's a fun little thing to have. It's dead simple operation. I do think they've improved it somewhat. You know, I have these other ones over here to the side. This one I broke the power button on. These buttons do feel, they feel more tactile than the previous buttons. I actually broke the power button on this one pressing it too hard. You know, I didn't damage it like that, but you know, I tried to fix it later and I failed. But the operation is very, very simple. You long press the band button to turn it on. I'll show you that. Then you get this funny little Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Of course, I don't think anybody got these during Christmas or New Year's, but so it's got this little screen. It touts itself as resolution of 320 by 240. Whether it is or not, I don't know. It's a 2-inch screen, but anyways, so if you want to auto search, you then long press the channel button and it will search through the channels, and we'll do that here in just a minute when I turn something on. And then you can short press the band and the channel to cycle through manually. Now you'll notice on the older ones how they had bands and channels printed here across the bottom, and they don't do that with this particular iteration. A couple little things about it. It's the same size. This is an MMCX connector, which is a good thing, so you can get other antennas like this one if you choose to, and you could plug it in there. Of course, without the 90-degree angle, it's gonna stick out a little funny, but you can find these with 90-degree angles on them too. Although I found this to work fine, although I didn't do any sort of range testing or anything like that. You know, it's a fun thing to have, possibly. There's no indicator of your battery life on the screen, so once it dies, it dies. I found that I can get about 35 minutes of constant runtime with it, so it's not something you're gonna just keep on at an entire day's event. I guess you could plug in a USB power bank and strap that to your arm, and you might get some really long run times out of it. It does warm up a little bit over time with the use of the video reception, and of course this is your charging port right over here, and it does come with a charging cable. Also inside this little package is a piece of Velcro, so our charging cable, and then a little piece of Velcro. Now we've got a matching piece of Velcro here, so you stick that on there, and then you can mount it to your radio, which I'll show you one that I've already got. So you've probably seen something like this before. I know that Mr. Steele uses one of these little watches when he does live streams in his cell phone, but you can have this on here as a way of sharing, so someone can actually watch your sticks. Maybe you have the use in your own YouTube channel to where you can film your sticks and your video reception, your FPV feed, right in one shoot, so you don't have to blend those together and post. I can see where that can be very handy, because I did do a PID tuning video where I was shooting the sticks and it turned out horribly, so I never ended up posting it. I think something like this might make it a bit more simple, but I'm not certain how well the screen would handle. I think you might need to have it in some pretty good shade, so you might need to drape everything with some sort of shade or something of that nature to keep the sun glare if you were using that. But anyways, so a lot of people have these 3D prints and they put this older style on here. It's got some I've got some dual lock on there. There, I got it off. This is the extra thick dual lock, but you don't need that now. They've iterated again. Now they've got this little mount. You peel this off, you stick it on there. Of course, it's not angled at all, and then it just clamps right on there. Of course, you have to take the watch band off in order to do that. But as you can see there, it should clip right in and right out, easy peasy. So it's nice that we now have this. It's nice that we now have a MMCX connector. And I do think that they've also changed the materials quite a bit. This plastic that's on here feels a little bit like that soft touch plastic, and this band is actually very pliable, and actually I can see how it would be fairly comfortable as well. Just putting it on my wrist to take some pictures, I found that the band was actually quite comfortable, especially when holding on to something as big and clunky as this. But let me go ahead and turn this on. I'm going to plug something in, so you can get a little bit of an idea what the picture looks like on there. I've got the trash can behind us plugged in. You can see, possibly you can see, let me get my camera to focus on it. There we go, that's a little bit better. You can see the elements on the screen, and it seems to work out just fine. I will say that the MMCX connector with my fingers, I'm not able to get that in and out really easily. It does take a bit of work, but you know, it's a minor thing. I think you could probably just bend it around this if you wanted to. Let me see if I can do it here now live. No, I think I'd want to, oops, Maybe that's the trick. There we go. I just figured that out. So I was trying to pull it out from the bottom here. Maybe that was my problem. Instead, just maybe push it to the top. It gets to loosen it up. There, that came out quite easily. So there we go. We learned something live right here on video. So I don't know if you want to recommend that or not, but you know, I had troubles getting it out of here with my fingertips. Turns out you can kind of push up here a little bit. That'll loosen it up to where you can pull it right out. But it's a fun little thing to have. It's not something you have to have, but I thought I would show it to you. Many people probably haven't seen that. It comes in a lot of different names and forms. This is the G-Ting T909. I honestly couldn't tell you what this one is. I thought I got it from Get FPV. It's got the Verhuck brand on the front. Maybe that's another GearBest product. I'm just not certain there. Looks like my battery's getting low on my trash can. I better unplug that. The last thing I'll try to show you here, it's going to be a little bit sketchy, I think, for me. When you're cycling through the bands and the channels on this, it does show you on screen what you're cycling through. You see how it's got FRE there, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3. You can hit the band one. So if you know which band you need to be on, say you're on B6, there we go. So you just use these buttons. It works quite well. The buttons are fairly tactile, give you some feedback, and they do respond on screen. So there's really no usability issues there. Neat little thing. Maybe you got a little stocking stuffer money left over and you want to add to your FPV gear. It might be something that you consider. If you have any comments, questions, suggestions, or otherwise, please let me know in that section down below. I appreciate your time, and thanks for watching.